So I wanted to give you guys context on the shooting in Las Vegas today, because whenever there is a shooting, as you all know, they say don't politicize it. When there's terrorism, they say let's immediately politicize it and take action on it. So let's compare the two and see what it looks like. So gun deaths per year in America is roughly 33,000, okay? So I'm gonna get to how many have died from terrorism in a second to give you context, but first let me also give you non-fatal gun injuries. That's 78,815 annually on average between 2010 and 2014. This is US government information, that's CDC that gave you that information. So combined over 110,000 people injured or killed by guns every year in America. That's a war zone. That's what we live in today. Well, how about mass shootings? In 2016, you had 383 mass shootings, only 365 days of the year, so more than one a day. 15,000 killed by gun violence. So that does not include the suicides and the accidents, that's homicides. In 2017, 273 mass shootings. So far, there's been 275 days, so almost one a day. 11,600 people killed just this year so far by gun violence. That's all homicides. Now let's compare it to terrorism. So between 2001 and 2014, this includes 9/11. There was 3,043 people killed in domestic acts of terrorism. Another 300 or so US citizens killed abroad in acts of terrorism. Meanwhile, firearm deaths in that same time period, 440,095. So let's do some quick math on that. What that is, 100 times worse, 150 times worse in that ballpark. So if you say we should do something about terrorism, God bless your heart, of course we should do something about terrorism. Apparently we should do 100 times that on gun violence in America, 100 times. But they say, no, we have to do everything about terrorism politically. We have to do nothing about gun violence in America at all, okay? So understand how disproportionate it is. Speaking of disproportionate, take a look at this chart. This is mass killings in the world. Well, interesting stat there. There has been 166 mass shootings in the US and these other countries combined, okay? These developed countries combined between 2000 and 2014. Of the 166, 133 of them are in America. That is unbelievable.
Well, according to Bill O'Reilly, that's just the price we pay for freedom. I think it's abundantly clear that you can, value freedom, protect freedom, and make sure that you protect your fellow Americans as you do so. And apparently they don't see it that way.
I believe in freedom. I don't believe my neighbor should have a nuclear weapon. That's not part of my definition of freedom. Okay, so, but you see where we are. And by the way, if you're wondering why Norway is so disproportionate on per capita gun deaths, it's because of Breivik, that one terrorist in Norway that shot all those people. And obviously Norway is a much smaller country. But so if you say there's nothing we can do about gun violence, that's not true. I just showed you dozens of countries that have done something about gun control, and they have a lot less gun violence. They have a lot less mass shootings, both per capita and overall. We are #1 in a horrible category, mass shootings, 133 out of 166. We're lapping the field, unfortunately, over and over and over again. Last thing, give you a sense of scope on what people die from and what are the serious issues, okay? So assault by guns happens, unfortunately, for 1 out of every 358 Americans. That is, unfortunately, an incredibly high number. Accidental gunshots happens at 1 in 7,945 times for Americans, okay? So that's also way too large. Now, foreign-born terrorists causing death, that's only 1 in 45,808. So you're far more likely to accidentally get shot by a gun and die than to get killed by a terrorist action, okay? Let alone, what is, I'm not great at math, but what almost 1,000 times, more than 1,000 times more likely to be killed by a gun than by a terrorist, okay? And then if you're looking at refugee terrorists, it's almost infinitesimally small, 1 in 46 million. Illegal immigrant terrorists, 1 in 138 million. Okay, so what's the real threat? Is it illegal immigrants? Is it refugees who turn into terrorists? Or is it guns? Well, there is an actual statistical answer to that, and you just saw it. So let me give you more relevant context here. for what people normally die from. Like some things you're not at all surprised by. Heart disease kills a lot more people than guns or terrorism. So if we were trying to prevent deaths, we would care a lot about heart disease, diabetes, etc. And you see it. But a couple of the ones I want to point out. Falling, that affects 1 out of 133 people in America. That's cause of death, okay? Choking on food, 1 in 3,409. You
gotta chew your food, man.
Okay, and you see all the other ones, shark attack, etc., right? So remember, chance of being killed by a foreign-born terrorist, 1 in 45,000. So you are more than 10 times more likely to die of choking on food and way more likely to die from falling than you are from a terrorist attack. Okay, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do anything about terrorism. That means that when you have a much larger problem, for example, gun violence in America, and we just showed you it's 1,000 times larger problem, you should do a lot about that as well. But of course, on a day like today, when there's a mass shooting, the worst mass shooting in modern US history, all those politicians bought off by the NRA say, no, all we want you to do is be silent. A moment of silence, thoughts and prayers, but don't take any action. Don't believe the hype. That's the #1 problem in America in terms of violence. Support independent media. Come join us at the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.